Here comes another thought process video where I'm just sitting with the dog and I'm having my morning hape, my morning coffee, and I'm going to process some thought. I don't even know what the thought is yet. What should I talk about? What's been on my mind? Men in leadership positions. That's been on my mind, very much so. What's it like to be a man in leadership? I'll give you the mental and emotional and physical aspects of it. Mentally, let's say, for example, you're the CEO of a company or the head of a family or a community leader, even a manager. What other people don't see is the fact that a man in leadership still is human. We have thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations, and I guess the physical part, which I didn't even mention. Physically, we have chemicals running through our body that respond to our emotions, are triggered by emotions like serotonin, epinephrine, cortisol, adrenaline. So this is where even I used to believe everything was a choice between love and fear. And as a conscious being, a lot of my choices are between love and fear. But as a conscious being living within a mammalian husk, a meat sack, meat suit, if you will, there are chemicals running through my body I don't always have control over, not yet. So I might wake up at 3 a.m. and I have a cortisol rush because as a man in leadership, I have all my own thoughts and feelings and things that I need to heal, and I have children and I have clients and I have employees and I have people in my life who are coming to me for answers. They're looking at me to have wisdom, grounding, patience, advice, guidance, things like that. And if I wasn't in a leadership position, I could just bitch to them about all the things that I'm going through. But in a leadership position, gripes go up, not down. That's Saving Private Ryan. I believe that. Gripes go up, meaning anything I want to complain about, I have to complain to Spirit, God, Source, ancestors, angels. They're the ones that I need to talk to get guidance. Yes, I can have a coach, I can have advisors, no doubt. Therapists, even. But at the end of the day, trauma dumping onto the people that look to me, like my children and my employees, that doesn't work. And it might sound like way too tough or too masculine, but just try it. It really, really hurts morale. It changes dynamics in relationships. So if you don't like that, it's like, don't put yourself in a leadership position. Choose second, third in command if you need some sort of power. Like if you're on a power trip, but you don't want all the responsibility that comes with the power, choose second or third. But if you truly understand, or you can't avoid leadership, like some of us can't avoid leadership, it's like preordained by the universe, then understand the covenant that comes with that, which is you basically have to be strong for yourself and for others. And because of the high level of emotional intelligence of the world, it's like just being really abrasive and aggressive with other people doesn't work either. So now we're emotionally managing ourselves, emotionally managing others, and maybe being tough on ourselves and being gentle on others all at the same time. What a job, right? What a mind job. Now bring in ancestral or familiar healing, and some of us are going to resolve the karma or transgressions, sins of the father. We're going backwards in time to clear the karma from our family to help upgrade and adjust and clean out our DNA, which echoes out into our family. So we're breaking the chain of abuse by sometimes being tough on ourselves and being gentle on others, trying to resolve our own karma, and then going back and resolving karma within our ancestral lines, that is not a small task. Those are big jobs. So this is why I am so empathetic to men in leadership. I mean, anybody in leadership, but specifically because I'm a man, I have a bias and I have a personal experience that allows me to understand and feel, and through experience know what it's like to be a man in leadership. So with that being said, it doesn't mean I'm not honest. Like if I'm in a really bad spot, I'll just say, yo, I need some time. I won't trauma dump. I won't complain. I won't bitch and whine to the people around me. I'll just say, look, I got to process some things. I need some time. But that is honesty and that's transparency. Vulnerability is powerful. There are certain times where we just don't have the answers. We don't have the strength. So we're going to have to go into a space of surrender, which is a true level of courage and trust that I'm going to let all my guards down. I'm going to take some time off, and I trust the universe that everything isn't going to burn down around me while I'm taking some time to myself. So transparency, surrender, vulnerability, honesty, those are okay. And I'm going to say this with quotes, weakness. You're allowed to have weakness. You're allowed to be weak in certain places, in certain aspects. Share those with spirit. Ask for support and answers in that space. Or take Soul Root Alchemy, go through Soul Root Alchemy and find your strength, right? Find your answers. But when we share our weakness with the people that are relying on us, it subconsciously creates fear in them that they'll respond in such a way that they don't even understand. It is subconscious. It's unconscious and subconscious, where it's like, I'm looking to this guy for strength and answers and guidance and wisdom. And now I don't know if I can. And these aren't my words. This was a psychologist actually that I heard on a podcast talking about this. So it's very nuanced. I can be vulnerable, I can surrender, I can be transparent, I can be honest, but I have to be very careful about who I share my weakness with. This is why we men need support from each other, who understand each other, or spirit, or a therapist, or a shaman, or a guide, or a coach, or something. There's only so many places we can talk. This is why men suffer in silence, and they say not to, and we go, yeah, okay, I won't, and then we do anyway. And I'm just laying it out flat. I'm just being honest based on years of owning companies and having employees, having to coach employees, not realizing I was coaching them. I was just trying to get them through the day or get them through a project. I have a 23-year-old son. I have a child in heaven, if you want to call it that, a 7-year-old daughter, 14-year-old son. Whether I'm mean to or not, I'm in a leadership position. I'm coaching them. I'm guiding them. Even as a contractor, as a consultant, coaching, leading, guiding. And of course, I have a Pisces moon. I'm very emotional. If you go into my human design, I'm an emotional authority, and I have the channel of emoting and abstraction and transmission. I have 3 channels. I'll give you my natal chart if you want it. You can look it up for yourself. I'm about as emotional as you can build somebody out, other than making me like a Cancer moon or something like that. I'm about as deeply emotional and internally chaotic as anybody could possibly be. But I'm also very observant. And I can see in people's body language, I can see their energy shift like that. I can hear it in their language and their tone, that when they come to me for answers and I'm not being receptive or stoic, I'm bouncing all over the place, being sporadic and chaotic, it throws them off. That my energy field is strong enough to like disrupt theirs. And as an empath, the last thing I want to do is disrupt anybody else's peace. Even if I don't have it, I don't want to disrupt yours. And then take into consideration the fact that some of the projects that I take on aren't even that big. I mean, right at the moment, I'm helping a company manage $3 million a year in sales. I have an apprentice. I have people that come to me for human design, shamanic, emotional advice. And I'm a father. Those are big jobs, right? Shaman, and being a shaman, that's a big responsibility. It's not a title, as much as people want to act like it is. It's not a title, it's an action, it's a responsibility. The title is just so people can wrap their mind around, so the ego can grasp onto something and go, oh, this person is a shaman. Same as like, oh, they're a custodian, or, they're a housekeeper. It's like, just, that's for your brain. That's for your brain to grasp onto. In all reality, it's a sacred duty. It's a responsibility, and it comes with a lot of light and a lot of dark. So that being said, those are my 3 mountains to climb. Ownership of a company, and consulting. Being a shaman, being a dad. Those are things I didn't even think were possible that I could accomplish one. When I was 18, 25, I didn't think I could accomplish one of those things. And now I'm doing all 3 in a day, not including the curveballs and the bullshit that the universe throws at me every now and then just to keep me on my toes, right? So we have, what is it? Thanos. Oh yeah, Thanos throws a moon at Iron Man, Tony Stark, and he goes, if you throw another moon at me, I'm going to lose it. I feel that way some days. I just look at the sky. I'm just like, yo, how strong do you think I am? How smart do you think I am? How flexible do you think I am? How long do you think I can do this? So I'm saying this because I hope if you're watching this and you're a man in leadership, you understand. And you understand that I understand. So those are my 3 mountains. But there's some guys out there that are running multi-million-dollar companies, and they're coaching, or they're a coach and they're coaching thousands of people, or they have like a church like Michael Beckwith or something. You have authors out there. They've released 30 books and they have book tours. You've got artists and musicians that are having to go on tour, and they've got millions of fans. Some people have 10 million followers, 100 million followers on YouTube or TikTok. There's people out there that have much bigger responsibilities than me. I recognize that. And what's funny is that what ties us all together is we all have emotions. Everything I just talked about is just a story. What are the emotions that we're feeling, and how are we responding to these responsibilities, to our own personal growth, to the impossible task of keeping ourselves together and the group together, and resolving our karma, and doing our self-healing, and working on ancestral healing? What are the feelings around that? They're pretty big. So I've learned to spend less time in the stories. I share stories so we know what we're talking about, but at the end of the day, they don't really matter to me. They matter very greatly, and at the same time, they don't, because they can just be perceptions. They can just be constructs. And I can't always change those. I can run around in them like a freaking maze forever, but I can't always change them unless I start distorting the story and lying to myself about it. What I can change is my emotion. And when I stop saying these are problems and I start saying these are experiences, there's a bit of a shift of energy. I haven't had any problems. All I've had is experiences, lots of them. And they've taught me something. Next, I have to ask myself, do I want to live in the negative framework? Do I want to live in the idea that this is a problem, or are these experiences? Even better, are these portals of self-discovery? So rather than looking for truth, and I know everybody wants it, but it's so relative that it's very hard to find. Rather than looking for truth, right? Look at the story and look at the lesson. And once you change your emotional response and you say, yeah, that was hard, but it taught me something. Well, now it's not a problem, it's a benefit. It is a springboard to up-leveling and becoming stronger and wiser. Does that make sense? This is emotional alchemy. Just by changing by detaching from the story and just drawing a circle around it and telling myself, this is a story I'm telling myself. and then observing the emotions, which are now. Stories are always about the past or the future. They're all in my head. I can't change those, or I can get lost in them. It's a lot easier to be like, okay, what are the 5 to 10 emotions I'm feeling about these stories? And once I start changing the emotions, my response, then reality changes. And now I get my strength back. And now I'm clear again. And now I'm grounded. And I'm exactly the person that people need me to be and I need to be. And I can promise you this, it makes your ancestors proud. Every time Thanos throws another moon at you and you deal with it in a grounded, loving, calm way with wisdom and grace, this is when the ancestors get down on one knee and they go, good boy, good girl, whatever. Way to go. Like, you're doing our family proud. So that's today's thought. You catch all that, Jax? Yeah, the dog, he got it. He's getting some free coaching right now. So that's my basic approach. After that, once I step into a more loving, calm, wise space, then this is where most people will go into like a solution, which is back into the mental space. And that's okay. Sometimes the solution shows up like that. Sometimes the solution shows up on its own, or you come up with the next idea or whatever. I also love the idea that if I create a space, and I use this mantra, I now create the space for a solution from a space of love, and then I sit in that energy and I feel that energy. Now, as I change my vibration, it changes the way I see things, it changes the world around me, it changes my reality, because that's the only thing I have power over. And nobody can create a space for me. Not Jesus, not Buddha, not my mom, not my dad, not the internet, not ChatGPT. Nobody can create a space in my mind and in my body that wasn't there before. Transmuting energy takes time and energy. Creating a space takes nothing. It takes a decision. Will you create a space or not? And then, boop, you open up this place in your mind where nothing else exists. Simply like saying, here's a silver platter, dear universe, put my solution here. I'm open to it when you're ready. And sit and be with that. And then watch the miracle show up. Watch your luck change. Watch the solutions show up, either on their own or by your hand. It's remarkable. And I have plenty of recordings of walking people through this process to prove that this works. It's pretty cool.